Hello, my dear students. My name is Juan Manuel Sanchez Barrero. I am your business intelligence teacher. I am a psychologist from Los Andes University and a specialist in business from Heriot-Watt University, and I am currently studying MBA at Heriot-Watt University in Scotland. Um, I am a psychologist, and you may be wondering why a psychologist may be teaching you business intelligence. The fact is that through my professional career, I have been working with a lot of data, and um, I have had the need of developing many databases. And as a matter of fact, I became um, a programmer, computing programmer, software programmer. And nowadays, I mix my career with the programming and managing of information through different systems, starting with Excel, SQL, PHP, and now other big data analyzers like, for example, Power BI, like, for example, Tableau, and so on. In this class, we are going to use Tableau because it is one of the best softwares to do business intelligence in enterprises. So our first class is about what business intelligence is, and we are going to have a presentation that I'm going to present and some videos and readings that you have to do by yourself. And as we start on Wednesday, as I explained in the instructions text in the virtual classroom, you have up to Sundays every week in order for you to study, to have a good and comfortable pace to study. And on Monday, you will have to present either an assignment or a quiz or both. And you will have up to um, 11 at night on Mondays to answer quizzes or present your assignments. Then next Wednesday you will have the next class. So we are going to have each class uploaded weekly. Okay, so by now this is the first class. In order for you to adapt to the methodology we are going to use, which is of course um, studying the materials and doing the assignments and answering the quizzes in order for you to learn. Sometimes you may have questions, so you're going to send me the questions through my WhatsApp. But if you have any other situation like an excuse or a family situation or a personal situation, you won't have to send it to me, but you have to send it to Casa UR in order for them to send me the excuse if they accept it, uh, for me to know that I have to let you present your assignments or the quizzes or whatever. So questions and only questions about the class will be sent to my WhatsApp. Remember, my WhatsApp is either in the class guide and in the virtual classroom. So welcome to this class, which is going to be very useful for you in terms of being a better professional, because you're going to be able to analyze information, to um, get that information from different sources, and to integrate it into a system, if we can say that, to make decisions, intelligent decisions for your company, either if you are an entrepreneur or if you are an employee in a company. So welcome. Thank you very much for your attention, and let's continue. So we are going to start with what is and what is not business intelligence. First of all, business intelligence refers to having a lot of data and analyzing it, first of all, in order to determine if it is an integral bunch of information, and of course to understand the information itself. So we have to ensure that it has integrity and that we understand the information we are receiving or we are gathering. And of course, these two first steps lead us to make well-informed decisions. But we make those informed decisions using strategies and IT. IT means information technologies to transform that information into knowledge. That is the central point of business intelligence, to have knowledge. Well, one of our guidebooks is a very interesting book, which is about the whole world of business intelligence, and we are going to use it just to look for information and to know how to do some things, but mm, the core of our work is going to be doing the work. But our author, which is Ahmed Sharif, defines business intelligence as the process of delivering actionable business decisions to the company. So the fact is that when we are analyzing information in order to be intelligence as a business, we have to help the managerial or the top management to make decisions, well informed and analyzed decisions. Okay, and that those decisions come from different sources. Anyway, and the fact is those decisions are based on good information. Okay, so business intelligence is based on good information. Okay, now some other definitions exist in the market, but some of them are almost always the same. This is a very interesting definition of the Warehousing Institute of Canada, uh, which defines business intelligence as the processes, technologies, and tools needed to turn data into information, information into knowledge, and knowledge into plans. That is the core um, aim of the business intelligence process, which is to help the company to do better plans or to behave in a better way or to predict what the future is presenting us, and therefore making good decisions in order for the business to survive in a big and international globalized market. Okay, but business intelligence is both a process and a product. As a matter of fact, according to Vedder, one of our authors, business intelligence is a process in terms of the methods that organizations or enterprises use to develop useful information or intelligent information to help the company to be stronger. Okay, and it's a product in terms of the information that will allow the organization to predict the behavior of competitors, suppliers, customers, technologies, acquisitions, markets, products, services, and so on. So the fact is that we are going to process information and produce in more information, intelligent information to predict what those actors are going to behave or how they are going to behave. Okay, let's talk about what has happened in the last 20, 30 years with the information. There has been a vertiginous and dizzying growth of electronic space, memory, data, and information since the 90s, even before you were born. For example, the random access memory has grown from just 256 kilobytes to more than 64 gigabytes. So there are computers that have a whole bunch of RAM I mean a lot of RAM, in order to process in a faster way and to have more space in memory. This is the memory we use when we open programs. If you have Word, PowerPoint, and Excel opened, they are on the RAM in order for the computer to manage them. So the RAM has been growing a lot. And today you can find PCs with, I don't know, 12, 16 RAM of memory. And they keep growing in memory because you need more memory each time to manage that kind of information that is growing also. But also the storing devices like hard disks have been growing, and nowadays we have solid state drives and also rotating drives, which are the common ones that have a whole capacity, I mean a huge capacity to store information. Let's see a little bit how the storage units and the size of the information have been growing. First of all, we have to understand what a bit is and what a byte is. So a bit is the smallest unit of information, which may be 1 or 0. Okay, so computers work with one and zeros, ones and zeros, which means that every word, every letter, everything in the computer is composed by ones and zeros, like you see in the image, the purple image with yellow letters. And a byte is composed by 8 bits. So 1 byte is composed by 8 bits, which means that um, a 1 may be in 8 positions, any of them. And you may have a combination of ones and zeros for each letter, for example, or each character of the computer. And if it is a word, it is a whole bunch of ones and zeros that you are using in the computer. Okay, now let's see a little bit um, this triangle here and how it has evolved to um, grow in terms of bytes and megabytes, the size of the units for storage, and of course the size of the information. So the first one is a bit, as I explained. Then we have 4 bits, which is a nibble. Then we have 2 nibbles, which is a byte, and everything is measured in bytes. So there, 1000 bytes is a kilobyte, times 1000 is a megabyte, times 1000 is a gigabyte, and so on. So a gigabyte times 1000 will become terabyte, which are the units of storage that we are using now in computers. But there are many other units like petabyte, which is 1000 terabytes, and exabyte, zettabyte, yottabyte, and the biggest one up to now is brontobyte, which is a whole, I mean, a lot of lots of millions of bytes. So, and it will keep growing because information is each time more bigger or much more, and it has been growing exponentially. So in the future we will have more units about the storage units and its capacity or their capacities. How business intelligence has evolved. I'm not going to show you a whole history of business intelligence evolutions, but some dates which are important. It began in 1958 when Lund, an engineer of IBM, published his work entitled A Business Intelligence System. And then in the 80s, Howard Dresner defined BI as we know it today. And in the 90s, the business intelligence became more important in business because, as I told you, the information was growing a lot and very fast. And then in the early 2000, social media and many other things, like, for example, internet and, of course, podcasts, and, of course, big data, um, started growing and being more important to get information to be business intelligent managers. So it became accessible not only for specialists or engineers, but also for common people like us. So many professionals today, lawyers, doctors, psychologists, architects, nurses, and administrators, and, well, businessmen and women, um, became um, analysts through the easiness that the systems let them have. I mean, softwares that are easy to use, understandable, and that don't need people to have a lot of knowledge about programming, for example. And then, of course, the cloud started growing. Cloud means everything is in internet. I mean, everything is located in big servers around the world, and many companies like Google and Facebook and many others have big servers. I mean, huge servers. A server is a huge computer, not in size, but in capacity of storage. So there are many companies that offer, and, of course, they are interrelated through the net, through the internet. So the computing, the cloud computing started growing. Um, and 15 years ago, and, of course, the intelligence um, of business started growing with this growth of the cloud computing. But also, we have a situation nowadays which is the fourth industrial revolution, and it is aiming to intelligence, artificial intelligence, and robotics. So there are many companies that have been growing, and I mean, that have developed a lot of technologies around the intelligence, or the artificial intelligence and robotics, which are going to be our peers in the near future. So we are going to have not only machines that do things, programmed things, but also machines that think, and that may help us in our work. And, of course, we have to understand that that will lead us to know more about business, and more about business intelligence, in order to make good decisions in a big marketplace, which is also full of enterprises like ours, and that have a lot of opportunities for us and for all of them. The main aims of business intelligence nowadays are having a vision about those markets and all political, economical, and ecological and technological matters, but also making intelligent decisions, because it is going to be very sensible and very detailed, and the information that we have to get in order to be competitive in the market, and measuring productivity and performance. mm, How are we going? How are we going to be? Okay, to keep going, and identifying the opportunities that we are going to have, which are many opportunities, but also identifying those um, problems that we may find, and making decisions to face them. And, of course, it means predicting the future. So we are going to be future predictors, and we are going to use data in order to predict that future, making intelligent decisions to face that future. Okay, we don't understand always what information, or how to manage information, or the way to manage information. I'm going to explain you a little bit, and we are going to make some exercises to familiarize ourselves to those ways of managing for information. First of all, let's talk about the Kimball method, which is how companies or how softwares organize information. So the yellow arrows are showing you the tables in which we code things. For example, in a company, you're going to code products, codification, coding of the products, which means that each product is going to have a number or a set of characters and numbers to identify in a unique way that product or each product. Also, employees, also suppliers, also buyers, also, I mean, customers, also many other things like, for example, marketplaces or branches or whatever. So those yellow arrows are showing us what we call, or what the Kimball method calls, the lookup tables. The lookup tables store information about one um, device, one person, one product, and so on. And the fact tables, which is the blue arrow, relate all those informations in order to make a register or to store information about a transaction, for example, a sale. Whenever you go to the supermarket, you see that the clerk or the cashier um, passes all the products, right? And first of all, he or she asks you what your ID is. So you say, my ID is blah, blah, blah. So that sale is registered to your ID, and all the IDs of the products are registered in that sale. And of course, the sale itself has an ID. So that table, which is called fact tables in the Kimball method, store the sale, the ID of the sale, the ID of the customer, which is you, the ID of each product you buy, and it may, for example, register also the ID of the store in which you are. You may be in Bogota in one store, or in Barranquilla or whatever city. And it may also register other things, like, for example, the cashier itself or the clerk, and of course, some information about the store. So it's composed by many IDs that come from the lookup tables. So the first thing to organize information is to have tables in which you code information that you're going to use: an employee, a product, a store, whatever. And then have tables in which you relate that information in a transaction or in a happening, let's say, in something that happens in the company. For example, production. So in production, you may have the date, the ID of the product you are producing, the ID of the person in charge of that production, the ID of the supplier of that product that you are using to produce other products or whatever. So those fact tables are the big store of what happens in the company every day in every situation. For example, financial, for example, human resources, for example, markets or marketing, for example, production, for example, quality management, and so on. Okay? So first of all, we code information, and then we use those codes to um, work in the company with all that information for, or I mean, to have the track of what goes on in the company. Okay, so the lookup tables or dimensional tables are used to code, and they are composed by IDs of each product, person, store, whatever. And of course, the fact tables store all the transactions. Okay, and the information for the fact tables come from the lookup tables. Therefore, the lookup tables store the IDs of whatever you are coding, and the fact tables store all the information that you need for a transaction. A financial transaction, of course, brings information of the product, of the employee, of the, I don't know, the account code, and so on. Okay, so there may be as many fact and lookup tables as needed by the company or by the business. So, as we are going to see later, um, a database composed by lookup tables and fact tables is very big, sometimes huge. Imagine a company like, I don't know, Coca-Cola. The system of Coca-Cola may have thousands of lookup tables and thousands of fact tables, as we are going to see later. So, of course, not always are thousands and of tables, but also we may have little companies in which you need, I don't know, some tables some lookup tables and some fact tables in order to manage the company. Okay, what the process of BI is must be divided in five stages, mm, which are very important. First of all, identifying and understanding the data sources and the data or the data, sorry, itself, which means that you're going to have many sources. Okay, for example, you may have databases like Excel, text, CSV, SQL, but also books, newspaper, business reports, I don't know, national and international institutions, web pages, social media, podcasts, videos, well, whatever. So we are going to gather the information of our interest. For example, information about the behavior of the hotel in which I am working or that I am managing, and the hotels similar to ours and how they are going in the market and how we are going compared to them. So we have a lot of information in the social media about the opinions of the people, about the um, and marketing strategies, about the results, about the financial results also, and so on. So we need to understand and first of all identify and understand where the information is, okay, and gather that information. Sometimes the information will be ordered, will be classified, will be coded, but sometimes it is just information in text, so we have to analyze texts and so on. The second step is collecting that data from those sources. The third one is staging and cleaning the data, which means that we are going to prepare and integrate those data in a manageable, organized way, most of all in tables, fact and dimension and tables, and lookup tables, sorry, and store that information in such a way that we can manage it to express results of that analysis we do with that information. The fourth step is data visualizing, dashboarding, or reporting that information, which is showing the information for all the interested people in the company to make decisions, to understand what is going on with the company, and then make decisions. But of course, we have to keep in the fifth stage correcting, feeding, and debugging the information, which means uh, cleaning that information, right? And it is continuously, it's a continuous process because there is daily, almost by a minute, more information to analyze. So we have to understand that we have to keep tracking that information. We have to keep cleaning, debugging that information. Okay. Okay, and this is a slide from one of our videos, which explains very interestingly how the process will be, and you're going to understand better when you see the video. But the fact is that First of all, in OLTP um, stage, we get the information in the company through, for example, database, some sort of software that we have bought or we have developed, and we have through that software views, business performance information for management, reporting, and so on. And that is the information we gather while the business is functioning. Okay, so we sell, we produce, we buy, we contract, we fire, we do a lot of quality developments and so on. But also there is another process which is the analytical processing of the information, and we are going to understand that is extracting information from the tables we have, but also including information from other multiple sources. Okay, that is the analytical processing. So you're going to understand this much more when you see the video. But the fact is that you have information of your company that you manage, that you control, but you have other informations that you have to integrate to the information of your company in order to make predictions, to make intelligence of business. Okay. Okay. Um, how do we, um, or how can we understand this process from another point of view, but with the same results? First of all, you have data. In the bottom of the triangle, you have data, which are discrete elements like numbers, words, arrays of data, almost always in a database. And then you convert that data in information. Information means linking elements. Information means understanding the elements and mixing them in such a way that we have the third stage, which is knowledge. What is going on here? Okay, so we have organized information that allows us to, for example, have theories about how the market is behaving, how the production is behaving, how the human resources is behaving. So we have knowledge, and then we have wisdom, and we can make decisions with that knowledge applied. For example, we can develop um, plans, we can develop books, we can develop guides, we can develop strategies, we can develop whatever we need for the company to be stronger and to keep being competitive in the market. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. So now I invite you to understand much more business intelligence through the videos you will find in the virtual classroom and two small readings which are done in less than half an hour. And please be attentive to the details of those videos and um, readings. And then on Monday, there will be a quiz about all this information for you not only to have a grade, as I told you before, but also to learn more about business intelligence and to have the right basis for us to continue. So next class, we are going to start managing data in order for you to have, as we say in Spanish, your hands in the oil. I don't know if it exists in English, but the fact is that we need to get into work as soon as possible. So today we are going to understand concepts this week, and then we are going to start applying those concepts practically. Okay. Thank you very much for your attention, and if you have any questions, write to me, and as soon as possible I will answer them. Thank you very much.